Brad, you are a successful writer, and you actually have an 8-part thriller drama written series set to release this year.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that and all of your other ventures?
So we got Caught in Her Eye, which is the first of a 3-part trilogy that I'm going to put out. It's called Caught in Her Eye, Caught in His Eye, and Caught in the Truth. And basically it's about a couple. The story is told in a POV of the character, which is named Kennedy. She tells in Caught in Her Eye her perspective on what happened the night of, on a certain night, what happened in her relationship and what changed their direction or whatever for the rest of their lives based on decisions. And then I write a 8-part of his vision on what he sees or what happens. And then I show the truth of actually what entails that night. I just wanted to, I'm not producing any shows until 2026 because I started a new business. So I'm scaling that so I can propel myself and go from there. So, but I'm about to drop a bunch of short stories for now. They're going to be like free. I'm going to start like a virtual book club where I'm going to have people just commenting and, making videos on each part that comes out. They're so gripping, so intriguing. They're so fun. It's for everybody. It's for the reader. It'll appeal to all 5 of your senses. Like it's dope. It's so good. It's so good.
I love that. So for people who do want to stay up to date when you have the book clubs and the trilogies and all the series, how can they find that and
you can
get
follow
information?
me on Instagram at Brad Baker Productions or TikTok at Brad Baker Productions. They'll be posted for free on my page. I'll let everybody know. I'm going to announce it within the next week or so. So you get the first exclusive next week or so. I'm going to give an official date of when it is. I'm gonna drop part 1 and part 2 now. I was only gonna drop part 1, but yeah, you just made me want to drop part 2. So
I would say y'all heard it here, so y'all better hold them accountable.
Yeah, so
like where part 2 at?
No, I'm gonna do part 2 right there. Yeah, because it's an 8-part series. I'm gonna probably drop them every Wednesday, but the first time I'll drop the first 2 parts so you can kind of like get a feel of the story, get a feel of the characters, and see where we're going on this like journey with these 2 characters.
I love that. Make sure you guys follow and support both All This Math and Brad Baker Productions. You guys won't miss a thing. You will love what they have coming out.
Yeah.
Black Fatherhood, you guys have to support in and of itself either as well. But the fact that we are talking about your business ventures and what you guys are doing, we also have to talk about that work-life balance because you both have more than one child. So we always say when you have more than one child, that's like you have 13 kids. So how do you guys balance that work-life balance with your kids? Going to work, having separate businesses as well, and managing more than one child. How do you do it?
I think for me, and I'm still kind of getting used to this, like at this point, I'm like a full out entrepreneur. So that actually creates, while there's difficulty because now I'm responsible for I'm like the boss now, but now I got to be responsible for like holding myself accountable. Right. Because I don't have I used to work at schools where there would be a principal or a vice principal that would like write me up if I don't get there on time. Right. Or, my students would learn, if I didn't get there on time, like if I'm not there by 7:30, 7:45, now that's not the case. Right. So if I'm like, okay, I need to get up at a certain time, but I'm a little tired. And I just lay in the bed. It's like, there's nobody to check me. You know what I mean? So I got to like check myself, but then an advantage is with having like multiple children. And like my youngest son lives with my ex-wife, like in another state. So having the flexibility is beneficial because now I can travel and like, go down to Baltimore and like spend time with him and then come back, be here in Philly and with my daughter. And my oldest son is also in Baltimore because he's in Morgan. He's a rising junior at Morgan. So 2 of my kids are in Baltimore now where I actually grew up. And, my daughter is here in Philly. So I'm like back and forth. I call it dual citizenship at this point. But I'm grateful that, I kind of have I wasn't planning this out, but I kind of developed this type of lifestyle where I have like flexibility, to be able to be a father and be present like for all 3 of my children, because that's always something that I wanted to do. Even as a classroom teacher, I made decisions about what schools I would teach at or like where I would work at, like based on, me being able to be present for my children.
That flexibility.
Yeah, but I think that's always been something that's important to me, like, putting my children first and being able to be present for them.
Smart.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I mean, I got a good village, man. I got a good system between their moms. Their moms is amazing. They do a lot of good stuff. I mean, it's important to me. You know what I mean? It's important to me that I'm in my kids' lives, that I have that impact on them to kind of like help them navigate life. Like the goal of this is like, I teach my kids like, you always chasing the best version of yourself. And I'm always there to like kind of remind them of like those things. But I like to incorporate my kids into things I do. Anything I do, I want them to see their dad in that particular light. When I'm on different news channels or I'm on BET or I'm doing a podcast like here, I'm like, yo, check me out here. Like I'll usually bring them with me so they can come experience it. Tell them, pretty much showing them like you can do anything you put your mind to. Like two people in this world. Like I always tell them, as those who can and those who can't. Both are true. We are kin because we can do it. You know what I mean? Whatever we can do. So I try to balance it that way. I mean, when you're chasing your goals and you're chasing dreams and trying to create history and trying to do certain things, there's a lot of sacrifice amongst everybody. So my village, along with my kids and their moms and my mom and my family and my sister, like people sacrifice for me to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I don't leave it in vain. So that's why I put my all into whatever I do so that they can reap the benefits of it and stuff like that. But it's absolutely the kids are priority. And the moment that I feel like if something's going wrong, I will stop everything I got going on to make sure that they're taken care of before anything moves forward.
I love that. And a village is important. That kind of reminds me, because you need a village in order to succeed, because if you don't, you're struggling. So what would you guys say has been one of the hardest periods of fatherhood in your life, and how did you overcome that?
I did have a couple of custody battles with my oldest son's mother, and then many years later with my daughter's mother as well. But it was a learning experience. Definitely a learning experience, and but it kind of just went back to just me. It was rough and it was unfortunate, but it was rooted in me trying to be present.
Yep.
So whereas there's the narrative that you talked about earlier, the negative propaganda about the absentee father, the deadbeat father. I'm sitting there, I'm at court because I'm trying to be more present. Exactly. Right. But, at the time, me and their mothers didn't see eye to eye at those particular periods in time for different reasons. But, it was rough, but it was something I knew had to be done.
Yeah. Salute to you for keep fighting. Because, sometimes men are like, whatever, I ain't got time. I won't fight with you. Yeah. And that makes a difference. What would you say is the hardest period for you in fatherhood, and how did you overcome it?
I mean, I was a kid when I had a baby. I was 17, 18 years old with a baby. You know what I mean? So it was just like, that was a tough transition because, like, for me, like the first year, I was in college the first year. So it was crazy. So it was like, I wasn't making really good decisions. Like I was making kid decisions. Like I was making decisions that a kid would make. Like, should I go home and spend time with my kids and my daughter, or should I go party? And it's like, I'm gonna go party and come back. And it took for me to a full year when my daughter was a year old. Like I tell people all the time, I was not present like that first year when I came, I'm like, yo, you really somebody's dad, bro. Like, and it just kind of set in for me. And like, my daughter loved the world, loved to worship the ground I walk on. So it was like, it's no way, you know what I mean? And it just turned that point. But I was just a kid, just trying to grow up in that and trying to, see through that. But I really haven't had any like real tough times being a father, like outside of being a teen dad. Other than that, like you're going to go through things as a father, if you stay with the moms or not, or, period. If you're married and have kids with your wife, you still have the same issues of, viewing ways of how to raise a child, because we raise in two different ways. And, you know what I mean? You two people create something, just trying to make sure we do right by the kid. But I didn't really have any like real dull outside being a kid. And that was like my number one rule for my daughter was like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you're not a teen mom, bro. Like,
I know
that's
just
right. What it is. Me and her mom did a good thing when her mom did an amazing job on the back end, on the front end to, make sure that, we achieve that goal.
Shout out to y'all coming together for that. That's a big purpose. But, there's obviously lows, but there are definitely highs. So what would you guys say is your proudest moment in fatherhood so far?
I mean, the highs definitely outweigh the lows. Definitely. It's definitely a good imbalance. I like that imbalance there. But, specific, I don't know if I have like specific, examples, but I just say overall, just my children just thriving. Just being out here, just in the world. Like my oldest son, he's like, he'll be 20 in August. He's living independently as a college student out of town. When he comes home, he's, in Philly, like doing his thing, hanging out with his younger sister. Like he'll you know, they got their own separate, you know, relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that don't even got to include me no more. You know what I'm saying?
That's when you know they're getting older.
At times I'll be jealous a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, nah, that's a very healthy thing. You know what I mean? My daughter, she's 13. She's been a dance since she's 2. So I've been going to her recitals.
Nice.
And, you know, she has a recital every year and she's performing in, you know, different, you know, events and whatnot, just on stage doing a thing. And I watched her growth. My youngest son, you know, he just turned 6 and he's actually about to graduate from kindergarten tomorrow. So I'll be down in Baltimore.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So I'll be down in Baltimore to see him in the morning, graduate and whatnot. Just him just being happy. Him just being happy. And also seeing the progression, my own progression, because I'm constantly reflecting, like, there are things that I didn't do, you know, with my daughter, because I learned from doing those things with my oldest son.
Yep.
And then there are things that I won't do, you know, with my youngest son, or that I should do, that either I didn't do with my oldest and my middle child that I should have did.
Yep.
But sometimes it's like you gotta be in it, you know, to learn, and you know you gotta fail. What they say, fail forward. You gotta make the mistakes, but learn from the mistakes.
Yep.
So you can do better, you know, in the next situation. And then also, like, go back. I learned that, you know, to go back and have those explicit conversations with my older children, to when I realized, like, damn, like, when you was 5, like, you know, I shouldn't have talked to you like that, or I shouldn't have, like, guided you in that certain way. I realized the error in that, you know, and then I even think about, well, why was my mindset that way? You know, and just have those conversations. Like, me and my oldest son, like, he's a young man. Like, we often have these conversations now.
I love that.
Because I don't want him to, like, harbor that resentment or even or internalize, you know, any of that, like, you know, any of those, like, you know, those negative feelings that he may have had on, you know, because I want to let him know, like, nah, bro, like, you wasn't wrong, I was wrong.
Yeah, and it makes them more comfortable to want to come to you.
Exactly. So yeah, so I think, you know, all that is just part of the beauty. Just the beauty of just being a father, you know?
That was a nice song. Come on now.
I don't know. There's a lot of things that I got going on, I guess, with the kids, as far as, like, great moments, you know what I mean? Just, like, I just got great kids, like, overall. Like, they make really good decisions. Like, they make good decisions. That's just based off of, like, being candid with my kids. I'm open. Like, I don't shelter them for certain things. We have the tough conversations. We have like the raw conversation. Like, I'm the dad. Like, my daughter hated. I'm the one that's talking about birth control and stuff like that. Like, not to say her moms didn't, but, like, her mom was, like, kind of cringy at first. Me, I had the tough conversations, but, like, dope moment, man. Just watching my daughter graduate high school. Like, that was a surreal moment. Like, so fire, so proud of her. Like, all her accomplishments. She's a hairstylist now. Does really good for herself. My son too, he just racks up on awards. Like, he just racks up on awards. Like, he's a really good kid, just gets it. Like, he's pitching a flawless game. He doing his thing. So it's like, it's rewarding. You pour into the kids, you know what I mean? They'll show exactly what you're watering. You plant them seeds.
Exactly, they're a reflection of you.
Yeah, and I just groom them the way they need to be groomed. But yeah.
Yes.